You are listening to the Holistic Hormone Podcast. I'm your host, Eleanor Dooley, and if you're seeking a deeper understanding of your body's inner workings, the reasons behind its actions and reactions, and you suspect that your hormones might be at play, you are in the right place, my friend. As a functional medicine nutritionist specializing in holistic hormone health for women, I bring together the latest research, my clinical expertise, and my own personal experiences to create a safe space for you to learn and explore. Just remember, this podcast provides information and inspiration for you, not medical diagnoses or treatments. Always consult your own doctor before making any changes. Now, are you ready to dive in? Let's get started. Welcome to the Holistic Hormone Podcast. I'm very excited today because I have a very dear friend of mine, Cindy Harrington, who's going to talk to us today about her practice and all the wonderful healing modalities that she uses and a little bit about our history together. Cindy is the owner of the Center for Nutritional Healing in Royersford. I always mess that up. Royersford, Pennsylvania, and that's about 33 miles northwest of Philadelphia. And she's been in practice over 8 years, helping people of all ages heal from all sorts of health issues. Things like fatigue, allergies, anxiety, chronic pain, depression, digestion, headaches, hormones, infertility, sugar cravings, weight gain. I mean, it seems like pretty much any ailment that you can come to her with, she's got solutions for you. She utilizes nutrition response testing and advanced lab testing to guide the unique protocols she recommends to each and every person. With time and dedication, the results achieved are nothing short of astounding, and I truly believe this. Her clients restore the foundation of their health and change the trajectory of their lives for the better. Cindy and I have been friends for a number of years. We actually studied together at the Maryland University of Integrative Health, getting our Masters of Science together in nutrition and integrative health. And we've just stayed in touch over the years because as both of our practices have changed and evolved, we've kept each other on our toes with all the different things that we've learned together and shared together and learned from each other. So Cindy, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. Gosh, I just loved the introduction. Thank you. And I just am so passionate about healing. It's such a fascinating field we're in. And there's always more to learn. There's a tremendous amount happening in holistic and natural nutritional healthcare now, post-COVID, or gosh, COVID's here to stay. So I shouldn't say post-COVID. We're still dealing with it. And so, like you say, many modalities and ways to heal the body, but I just don't think anything is more powerful than handling it from a nutritional perspective.
Yeah, obviously her and I have a lot in common as far as our practices. And can you tell us what prompted you to, I guess we're all kind of raised, or at least when we were younger, the conventional model, the doctors, the medicine, they get better and move on with life. You and I chose to take different paths on that. And can you tell us a little bit about how that came together for you?
Sure. Like you, I think I grew up with a standard American diet of fast food and sugar. And we just ate so much sugar in my house growing up. And that's just the way it was, the way a lot of folks are still today. But my health really tanked in my early 20s. And I felt like an old woman in a young woman's body. And I went from doctor to doctor trying to figure out why I felt so horrible and why I was getting every bug that went around the school where I was an assistant teacher in my 20s. Fast forward to my late 30s and I developed chronic pain. And that really, had learned about nutrition and had an idea of what it was to eat healthy. But until then, I wasn't disciplined. I'd get into a stressful period of my life and I'd kind of fall back into the carbs, the fast carbs and the sugar. But in my late 30s, when I developed chronic pain, I went into a much more committed period of sticking to uh, a good diet, or what I thought was a good diet, and seeking answers, because uh, I knew there were root causes to why I was in pain, and I was determined to figure it out and to get better. And I have done that. And I've evolved quite a bit in the last 15 or plus years in terms of my understanding of what's healthy in terms of a diet and lifestyle. But um, chronic pain was my teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're so right. Pretty much every person that you talk to that's a holistic practitioner of any sort has been through their own journey with themselves or somebody close to them. And it's getting over that initial hump of disbelief that there are other ways out there besides medication to learn to trust your body and listen to it instead of ignoring it and doing something else, which is a really hard, way to think about things. So when I very first met you, you were telling me about nutrition response testing, and that was very new to me, the term. I had never heard of it. So I would love to hear what it is, how you use it, and, is it, how have you changed people's lives using it?
Nutrition response testing is a system of muscle testing where we are able to determine root causes of why someone is not in optimal health, and also determine the exact nutrition their unique body needs to heal. So it was developed by a man who's still living. He's, I think, almost 80 years old and in great health, Dr. Freddie Hewlin. And he put together all different systems into one very efficient system of muscle testing. And it involves typically a client lying down on a massage table, but not for massage.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one right here. You can see sort of the top
Mm-hmm.
of it here. This is the office where I see clients. And they raise their arm up to the ceiling, and I push on the arm, and the arm will lock in place or it'll unlock. And just by virtue of the nervous system responding with that reflex of a lock or an unlock, we can get a wealth of information in a short period of time, telling us what's affecting the nervous system and or specific organs and glands in the body. What is weak? Is it your thyroid that's weak? Is it your digestion, like the small intestine, that's weak? Is it the brain? It could be anywhere where there's weakness. We can figure out what's causing it and the exact nutrition to literally fix it.
Yeah, what I think is so cool about this, and that I try to stress with my clients of like, you could come in here and know exactly what your pain point is, right? You could say, I get migraines, they hurt right here. This is what's hurting. But my approach, and it sounds like with nutrition response testing, it doesn't mean that treating that symptom at that time is the priority of healing for the body. So I always tell my clients is that we don't always jump to the big glaring things because it might not be what is underlying and causing the imbalance. So what I say is, like, if you go to a doctor of headaches, a migraine doctor, they're going to tell you all the things about migraines, but they're not going to know necessarily that it could happen to be a glandular issue in your adrenals. It could be a detox issue in your liver, because it's just not the lane that they're in. And so when you talk about muscle testing or nutritional response testing, those terms can be interchangeable. Is that right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you said it could be the thyroid, it could be the brain. So are you actually asking the body, what do I need to do first?
Oh, yeah. Just basically when any given person lies on the table and lifts their arm up to the ceiling and I push on it, if they can't resist me pushing on it and their arm doesn't lock in place, there's the priority right there. We got to
Ah,
figure out that.
yeah.
And then I go on to test for 6 major stressors that,
Yeah. Okay. Can you talk about the so you if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see behind her on the wall, you see all those little white dots. Her and I have been to conferences where we get our own test kits. Like what is all that? What does that do?
well, I don't know if you want me to grab a test kit so I can
Sure.
show you. Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why
Just a
not? So if you're listening, you should switch to YouTube so you can see what we're doing. But this is the consult room that Cindy has in her practice. So she would bring a patient in here, and then she would do her response testing. So she's going to show us a little bit about the kit.
Yeah. So let's say you come in and you don't have a locked muscle initially. It's like, that's the priority. We got to figure out why there isn't that vitality in the body and in the nervous system. So I have these kits, a number of them, and it helps me determine the root cause. And we test for 6 major stressors with nutrition response testing: all sorts of foods and food groups, immune challenges, including virus, bacteria, fungus, and parasites, chemicals, heavy metals, scars on the surface of the skin can be a player with the functioning of the nervous system and any part of the body's ability to heal. And 6th is post-pandemic factors.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
since
that a new
2020.
one? I was going to say that's a new one.
Yep. Because
Okay.
that virus is still going around and related issues. So I test for those stressors with these kits. And so inside each kit are a number of vials. These are liquid slash homeopathic representations of what I just listed. Now, this is the food category. So each vial is labeled like oats, rice, grains, soy, corn, wheat, sugar, dairy,
Okay.
etc. So I place this on the body, on a person's body. And as soon as I do, their nervous system picks up on the energy in these vials. I kid you not.
Wow.
And you know this,
I do
but
know
you're,
this.
you're people watching are like, really?
Yes. What do you say to naysayers when they're just like, that doesn't sound real? How could a vial that you lay on my body tell you if I was having a reaction to it?
I would say the nervous system of our bodies is unbelievably sensitive.
Responsive. Yeah. Sensitive,
Yeah.
responsive. And it's kind of that leap of faith of going, let me see. So what I would say to naysayers is go try
Totally.
it.
And
Right. So
I just have a lot of people who are like, wow, their arm will unlock, but then if I put, this on them and their arm suddenly locks and gets really strong, they see the difference. And this is really physics. This is, everything has energy.
yeah.
What's in our body has energy. What's in these vials have energy. And when those lock up, the nervous system will respond, or when they match up, I should say, the nervous system responds. And just like with hypothermia, energy goes out of our extremities, and we don't tell our body to put the energy into our core to keep our heart beating. But that's why people lose fingers and toes first. So same principles in place with this. I'm throwing a lot at you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fascinating. So let's say you take out the corn vial and you hold it up and the person goes weak. We know inherently that corn is not good for them, right? Their body has a reaction to that. But what if you pulled out something that's sort of obscure, like a parasite or a heavy metal? Like obviously we're not drinking heavy metals, hopefully, or consuming things that. So, if that energy is present in the client's body, what are some things that you walk through for that? What would they do about it?
Well, then I go and I test for what will fix it. In my head, I'm thinking like, okay, if they have a heavy metal like mercury in their body or aluminum, which this stuff's everywhere, and we're exposed to it a lot. So, and we're sponges, so we take in this stuff. But behind me, you see these white buttons or whatever. That's these test files, in particular for standard process whole food supplements, which are just wonderful at helping the body heal. And I have other product lines here, but that's the main one I go to. So I'll put that on the body to see if it'll fix the issue.
So essentially, you would put that on the body and the weakness would become strong.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's just mind-blowing work when we think about, why don't we ask the body what's wrong? Instead of guessing all of these things. I mean, this is truly revolutionary. I know it's changed my life. It's changed my practice, and helping people to trust their bodies again. And I recently saw, it was like a meme or something going around. It's the body can heal itself from disease, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's helpful if we know how we got it. If we know the toxic exposure, we can remove it. But it's also important to understand that we have to detox what's already there. So this is a true example for me. So I have a lot of those mercury fillings in my teeth. I'm not really in a position to get them removed. So am I just going to be continually exposed to this forever, or is there something else that can be done?
You're going to be exposed to mercury as long as that's in your mouth.
Right.
But there's plenty you can do before you get those removed. I encourage you in some time in your life to have those replaced. But in the meantime, there's wonderful products like chlorella and binders that you're very well acquainted with, I know, that can grab those, that toxin and move it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly where I was going, excuse me. Where I was going with that is, some people think, well, I'm already too far down the road. I can't do anything about it. And I think you and I agree that there's always things we can do to support the body, to support cell regrowth and cleaning up some of, whether it's tissue damage, whether it's cellular reproduction of healthy cells, and getting rid of things that don't belong or things that are damaging. My personal approach in my practice is two-prong. It's eliminate on the outside environmentally as best you can, and continue to detox from the inside. And no matter what the ailment, from hormones to gut health to, any ailment, detox is going to be the best thing you can do, because what you're doing is removing what internally is bothering whatever organ it is. A lot of times it's the liver. But then we're rearming the body's ability to regrow. So I know that's how you practice as well. Tell us a little bit about the recent addition to your practice of functional blood work and how that gives you even more information.
This, in the new year of 2024, I introduced, as you say, functional blood work and a little bit of urine too. And it's just been it's transformed my practice. I'm practicing in the most ideal way that I can imagine. Not that something else great will come along in a few years, but I can't believe it. And I'm requiring it of every new client that comes in now. With muscle testing, also known for me as nutrition response testing, I get a wealth of information, and I thought I would spend my career just using that as the main tool. But I find now with the advanced lab testing that I just have that much more information to help people. And there were some things I couldn't tell from the muscle testing. I didn't know folks' vitamin D level. I didn't know certainly their thyroid markers, and I'm testing now for 10 blood thyroid markers with each lab.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they had low iron. I didn't know if they had high iron. 1 in 3 people have low iron. 1 in 9 people have high iron. And I've had a number of cases this year of people with high iron, and it's very destructive to the body.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I just had a conversation with a gal yesterday, and I said, "Your iron's high," and and
Mhm.
people are used to getting told, "This is high, this is low, this is no big deal. Don't
Right,
worry about it. See you later." Right?
right.
But I go through pretty much every marker, and I say, "This is what it looks like. This is what's happening." Now, high iron, it has a head scratcher. And I said, well, are you, because, I go through their intake forms. What are you on? What are you taking? What supplements, right? What supplements are you taking?
Oh,
No, I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking anything. And I'm like, okay. So I sat there, and I did a little bit of nutritional response testing on myself going, what would cause this? How, like, I just sort of sat with it. And I thought, I remember her telling me that she was on a multivitamin. I'm going to go look it up. No iron in this multivitamin. And I'm like, okay, I am certain that she's ingesting iron in some way, whether it's a cast iron skillet, right? For those of you that cook with those, you can absorb iron through your food. What is going on? And then, we found iron in one of the supplements that she forgot to mention that she was taking. And she was taking it because a doctor said, go take a multivitamin. You should take one. No monitoring, no understanding. She had no guidance. And it's so destructive in the body in a way where you would show up as, I just don't feel well. And
oh yeah.
people like you and I can go, let's do a basic blood panel that it's fairly inexpensive, but it's going to explain to you the processes in your body. And just because you have high, circulating iron, it doesn't mean the iron that you need for your thyroid conversion, it's using it for that. Like, we have to break down each of these systems and understand these systems instead of kind of this blind trust of, well, I guess it's not too bad, right?
Totally. We look at it in a way people have never had their blood labs analyzed.
Right. And just the look on people's face when I have a little drawing. I mean, I just drew how the body works, and people were like, I've never seen this in my entire life. And I'm like, I know. I want to share it with everybody that if we understand our body, which I think is a basic fundamental human requirement, like, we should understand our bodies, then we're going to be that much closer to understanding how we treat it and what we do with it and the things that hurt it, contrary to what we see on TV and social media, and all these things are good for you and buy this and buy that, and you could just get lost in it. So I'm so grateful for practitioners like you because it's very inspiring to me and my practice, but I think it also it asks more insightful questions of other practitioners. When you and I don't know answers, we kind of demand to find the answers, so do you have any really cool stories that you can share with us? Maybe a client that had, something seemingly miraculous happen, through your modalities, and you were able to help with their healing?
Yeah, I actually thought of a case to share with you. I've had so many cases that are seemingly miraculous, and this one is kind of a typical great story. Okay. A woman age 42 started coming to me about a month ago. She's a mother of 4 children, and she's a hairdresser, and she works part-time, and she'll have a like one day 12 hours in the salon working really hard. And she came to me with a whole host of issues. And I'll just read to you her main concerns: gut health, weight. She had gained weight, brain fog, fatigue, hair loss, and trouble sleeping. And then waking up in the middle of the night, not being able to get back to sleep. So I did my typical stuff with her and found some stressors on her body through both the nutrition response testing and the advanced lab testing. So some highlights were with nutrition response testing, I found corn was an issue. Speaking of corn.
Mm-hmm.
With the advanced lab testing, additionally, wheat came up and casein, the protein in dairy or milks, came up. Also, a thyroid that was not functioning great. So of the 10 biomarkers that we test for, 5 were out of healthy range. And by the way, I know you do this too in your practice. We don't just look at the lab ranges given to us by our lab. We're looking at healthy ranges too,
Yeah.
that are typically more narrow or shifted over one way or the other. So if someone's out of that healthy range in their blood labs, we know we need to address something. So anyway, this gal, 5 of the thyroid markers were out of range. And thyroid also came up weak in the muscle testing. So, but between the two, I put her on a program. And 4 weeks later, she came in this office. I said, "How you doing? How you feeling?" "I'm good." She says, "I'm good. I'm feeling so much better," because we're addressing root causes. She stopped eating wheat. She stopped eating dairy for 4 months, temporarily. She stopped eating corn. And she said to me at her last appointment, "When I accidentally eat these foods, I feel so much worse digestively," because she's feeling better digestively in general. But she's like, "I know these foods. I see that I'm so much better off them." So, that plus, oh, I got her chart here,
Mm-hmm.
giving her some supplements to handle the root causes, including to support the thyroid. And so she has more healing to do. I mean, we start off with a 4.5 month program. So she's got lots more healing to do, and she's going to be feeling better and better.
Yeah, it's just incredible to me that this is the funniest way when somebody comes in. How are you after a few months of being on my protocols? Fine, nothing's changed. Everything's fine. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how are you sleeping? Oh, well, I don't have insomnia anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty big. How are you pooping? Oh, well, the constipation is gone. And I'm like, okay, so have we forgotten how
Yes.
far we've come in our healing? Because
Yes.
this is what it feels like to feel. I don't like the word normal. This is what it feels like to feel healthy with
Yes.
functioning systems that are doing the job they're supposed to be doing. So, the overlying message of today is pain is not normal in the body. It is not a normal function in the body to feel pain. When you're menstruating, when you're healing, pain is a marker, it's an indicator that your body is working to fix something. And you could help it along if you know why. So for example, first twinge of a headache, I say, have I drinking water today? Have I drunk enough? Have I eaten today? What's my blood sugar? All of these questions, because it really connects the dots, and it's interpreting instead of either ignoring or numbing out. Not to say that pain medication is sometimes needed. There's no I don't vilify any means, but we have to look at root cause, because if we don't change the reason the sickness or disease happened, then it will return, no matter what we do to cover it up.
Totally. And it's going to get worse too.
Yeah.
It's not going to get better on its own.
Yeah. So, well, this has been I just love chatting with you, Cindy. I always learn something, and I'm always just so inspired by your journey through growing your practice. And, you have been an inspiration to me and my practice as well. How can people find you? Are you out there in the world of social media?
Yes. You can go to centerfornutritionalhealing.com. I said that kind of fast. It'll be in your notes.
Yeah, we'll write it in the notes.
Yeah, centerfornutritionalhealing.com is my website. It's very comprehensive, and there are links to our channels or our accounts on Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, just pretty active, keeping up with the website, keeping up with social media.
Yeah. Do you have, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you have any speaking engagements coming up or anything that you're doing in your own practice? Nothing scheduled?
Gosh, I really want to get back into that. Before 2020, I was giving regular talks at my office, and I just haven't. Maybe it's also because I'm busier now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I threw that out there because I know we probably have some listeners in Pennsylvania, hopefully in the Philly area. You can go and look up Cindy. She'd love to help you. She has so many great resources for healing, and just like me, we don't stop until we find something that will help, or someone that can help you if it's not us. So we're here to support you and help you heal your bodies in the best holistic way possible. So thank you so much for your time today, and I hope your message and us sharing this conversation has been helpful for somebody out there.
Oh, me too. And thanks for having me, Eleanor.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Holistic Hormone Podcast. I appreciate you being a part of our community, and I hope you found today's episode truly valuable. If this podcast meant something to you and you'd like to show your support, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your reviews help others discover this valuable information. Don't forget to stay connected with me on social media. You can always find me on Instagram at holistic.hormone.specialist, where I share insights, tips, and updates to keep you informed and inspired. And if you're interested in exploring my latest programs and resources, head over to nourishingnutrition.net to see what's new and how you can further your journey to holistic hormone health. Once again, thanks for being part of this podcast family. Your health and well-being matter, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, take care and stay hormonally balanced.